The Ultimates are here to save America. Welcome to the Comicstorian Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panel's text and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. The Avengers of the Ultimate Universe are known simply as the Ultimates, and they are here to save America. This is Ultimates number 2. I hope you enjoy. Washington, D.C., the 4th of July. Secret Service stands out front. Their faces are cloaked by strange technology as they watch the gathering of civilians. Suddenly, there is a warning in their headsets. But the agents don't have time to react as the battle hits them with a loud boom. Civilians scatter in fear. One man pushes past a woman and her daughter, knocking them to the ground as he rushes to escape. "It's them! They hate our freedom! They'll kill us all!" he shouts. The woman looks up in fear as the villains approach. She holds up a hand to protect her daughter. "No, please, don't hurt her!" she shouts. But Captain America leans down and helps them to their feet. "You've got nothing to fear from us, ma'am. We just want the big man in the big house." The rest of the Ultimates fight the agents around them. When he knows that the woman and the child are safe, Cap turns back to the fight. "Okay, Ultimates, let's go save America," he shouts as the heroes break through the fence and rush onto the White House lawn. It was several days ago that Steve had gone to Tony Stark and asked for a crash course in American history that he had missed. Tony nodded and set him up with a holographic display. "I just gotta warn you, it ain't pretty," Tony had said, but Steve had to watch. He had to see what befell the country that he loved and had fought for. He saw it all the bloody history, the decades that had passed, the highs and the lows, the arrival of the Maker, the dismantling of the United States, the arrival of Galactus, the mutant riots, the death of JFK, wars, civil unrest. In the present, the Ultimates break through the White House roof, continuing their battle against the Secret Service. Hank still isn't used to fighting inside. He swats more of the agents aside, but bumps his head against the ceiling. As his team continues to fight, Steve stands outside the Oval Office with Tony at his side. "I'll give you a choice, with or through," Steve shouts. But the voice that answers him doesn't seem perturbed. Come in, the person calls. The two heroes rush into the office to find someone sitting behind the desk, clad in gold armor and with his feet up. "Welcome to the White House, brought to you by Midas," Midas calls with a good cheer. Tony stalks forward, recognizing his father's first suit of armor. "That was my father's!" he shouts with anger. Midas nods and stands. "I thought you'd like it, boy. After your father's betrayal, the assets were all up for grabs. Though, I've made it my own," he says. Tony grows angry, but Steve puts a hand on his arm. "Tony, he's just trying to throw you off balance," he says. Midas comes around the desk, welcoming the heroes to his home. "Do you like what I've done with the place?" he asks. Steve shakes his head. "I do not," he growls. Midas shrugs. "It's a free country," he jokes. He motions to the two heroes. "Let's get down to brass tacks. My associates believe that you and your violent ideology needs to be destroyed. But I am a businessman, so let's make a deal," he suggests. But Steve shakes his head, telling Midas that they are trying to save America. Outside, the last of the agents are down. Hank and Janet lean against the walls, breathing heavily from the fight. Just need to catch my breath," Hank gasps as he returns to his normal size. Midas laughs at Steve's words, pointing out that the soldier has a narrow view of what America is. But Steve stops him. "You sure do like the sound of your own voice, but here's the deal. We know what you're doing in the basement, and we're here to put a stop to it. So, with or through? Steve asks again. Midas nods. He whirls quickly, hitting Steve with a blast of energy in the chest that sends him flying. This is private property, and I have a right to defend myself, Midas shouts. He turns and fires another blast at Tony, but Iron Lad manages to block it with his armor. Steve pulls himself from the rubble of the wall and picks up his shield. Okay, through, he hisses. He charges forward, meeting a blow from Midas's armor with his shield. The sound of metal meeting metal ringing through the White House corridors. I am a member of the Hellfire Club, an organization whose members include the Founding Fathers. Do not speak to me of America, Midas bellows. Steve struggles to hold off Midas's assault. Do it, Iron Lad, he shouts. Tony nods and powers up his armor, firing a blast straight through the floor of the Oval Office, bringing them all down in a scattering of debris. As the smoke clears, Steve struggles to his feet to meet Midas. The rest of the Ultimates are still on the ground around him. Steve turns his head, seeing what they've come for. My God, he whispers at the sight of the young woman strapped to a large machine, energy being siphoned from her body. Beautiful, isn't she? My bright and shining star. That's cosmic radiation coming off of her. She produces it naturally. I have bathed her in light for 1 hour every day since we found her. She has changed me, as all great love does, Midas calls. He steps forward in his armor, reaching out a hand for the young woman. We believe that she fell from the future, the victim of some sort of violent expulsion, or perhaps an escape. We don't know. She has never spoken a word, not even her name, he says in awe. Steve looks back to Iron Lad as Tony gets to his feet, asking him to take out the machine, but Tony shakes his head. I can't. That took everything I had. I'm down to basic functions, Tony says. Midas whirls on them and fires another blast that knocks Tony away. Steve rushes forward, throwing his shield, but Midas knocks it aside and grabs Captain America by the throat, lifting him into the air. From compounds found in her blood, we created the cure for cancers. She powers half of Maryland and Virginia, and my armor. She is America, Captain. Midas gloats. He throws Steve to the ground and kicks him hard. Have to save America, Steve gasps as he struggles to stand. Midas stands over him. Save it? You barely know the place, he says in disgust as he kicks Steve again. The United States was a fine idea for its time, but it served its purpose. We cut out what was difficult and saved what was profitable, Midas says, watching as Steve struggles back to his feet. Free America, he gasps through swollen lips. His body was broken and bleeding, and Midas hits him again. Unaware of Janet struggling to her feet as her wasp sting was powering up. America is dead. Long live the North American Union and regional subsidiaries, Midas cheers. Janet aims her blast, rolls right off the tongue. She hisses as she fires. The machine sparks and explodes, losing all power. The heroes struggle to their feet and launch an assault against Midas. He's lost his power source, Tony shouts, but Midas continues to fight them off. You can't have her! I love her! Midas bellows, but Steve rises up behind him, grasping his shield. Love her? You don't even know her name, he growls as he slams the shield into Midas's neck. The villain crumbles to his knees and slides to the floor. I believe you broke my neck, Captain. Midas gasps from the floor, unable to move. Captain America nods. Gold's Soft metal, Steve says, sinking to his knees after the beating he took. But Midas just coughs and laughs, telling the heroes that if they take the woman, there will be consequences. But Steve stands and crosses the room, helping the young woman down from the remains of the machine. "It's okay, miss. We're here to help," he says as he lifts her up. "A great injustice was done to you. Things will be better now," he says. "Do you know your name?" he asks as the heroes stagger out of the White House. Still groggy, she nods. "America," she whispers. And there you have it. The Ultimates have saved America. But this is just the beginning. And who knows how the rest of the Ultimate world will retaliate. But what did you guys think of this video? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and click that bell icon to get notifications when future episodes come out. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.